Uh, Thanks for joining us. Today we're talking about the Island Gold Project. So the Island Gold Project is in the guts of the Murchison. So if you drive north along the Great Northern Highway, first of all you hit Mount Magnet. Halfway along that road, just before you hit Kew, you'll hit the Island Gold Project. The Great Northern Highway actually runs through the western side of our tenements. So location-wise, I've got Ramelius and Checkers processing plant 60 k's to the south. And you've only got to go another 20 k's up the Great Northern Highway, and then you hit Kew, and you've got Westgold, all of their mines and their processing plant there. So we're right in the guts of the Murchison. So what I'm going to talk today about is some of these great hits we've had. So just before Christmas, we got Top Drill in just to drop some holes just before the Christmas break. So I had some good news in the new year. And lo and behold, the first hole we dropped had a bit of a banger. We hit, as you go down the hole, we hit 27 meters at 3 grams. And we thought that was it. We were going to stop the hole. And the geo on site said, hold up, we're still in the banded iron formations. We think we should continue. So we continue the hole. And then we've hit another reef, 28 meters at 6.4. So now that's sort of really changed our thought process that we've got a stacked system. So we started to look for analogies around the area. So just to the south of us, you've got the old Musgrave, which got bought up by Ramelius. That's called the Break of Day. And structurally, when you compare us to that area, we're almost identical. You have these north-south striking greenstone belts with banded iron formations, and they're your brittle units. You need a rock type that's brittle, so it shatters when it shears. And when you have a shear zone going through it, so what you're looking for is northeast, southwest shears. When it shatters, you get silica and gold drop out in these shear zones. So this 28 meters and 27 meters is in the classic shear zone through the banded iron formations. Now, just to give you an indication of, sorry, Evie, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yep, perfect. So I think everyone's seen those drill results. They're pretty good. Back in the day, if I saw 1 gram a ton, I was quite happy. When you sort of average some of these grades, we sit around the 6 gram a ton, and that's from surface. So, yeah, if you look down the track and said, oh, if you're doing some open pits, you'll be mining 6 gram dirt, which isn't bad at all. So what I'd like to do is just go to some pictures and really talk about it. So there you go. There's the Island Gold Project. On the western side, you've got the Great Northern Highway. You have a slight ridge. You come over the ridge, and then you hit our target gold zone. Now that target gold zone is 1,000 meters wide and 5 kilometers long. Now, all the way through that, we have north-south striking banded iron formations. Now, they're your brittle units. So you need those. You need a brittle unit that's going to shatter. Just like when you break a leg on an X-ray, you see the break. Inside the break is where you get the gold dropping out. Now, right across this zone, you've got numerous areas that have had historical workings. So where there's smoke, there's fire. So if we go from east to west, so we go from the left side of the page to the right-hand side of the page, even that first banded iron formation from Skipper in the south to New Orient Gold Mine in the north, all the way along there, what we've mapped in the last few months are these brittle zones that have brecciated quartz. Now, every time we see the brecciated quartz, we know that's on grade. So there's 100% correlation between those areas. So with a whole heap of mapping we did, we had a look at all the old workings, surface workings, and there's obviously some shallow underground workings as well. You can actually map the orientation of these gold reefs that the old timers were chasing. And essentially, just even that 5 kilometer strike has all got gold in it at various concentrations. So we took the rig there in Christmas, and the first hole we hit the 28 meters at 6 grams, which just proves the fact that there's gold there. And then when we hit the second reef, we're looking at a stacking system. So some analogies to a stacking system: if you imagine a ladder that's got the rungs on it, so the whole ladder's got gold in it. But where you get the rungs, the steps on the ladder, that's where you get in the really high grade. That's where you get in like the ounce dirt, and that's what the old timers were chasing. And if you look at, I guess, deposits like Bounty or Fosterville, you had these reef environments, saddle reefs, and we've seen it at surface, and we've seen it in the workings, and these things go to depth. So we're starting to look at a stack system, and that's just on the eastern side. So as you move to the north on the eastern side, you hit the New Orient gold mine, and once again, 24 meters at 6 grams a ton. Obviously, inside that 24 meters, there's lower grades, but there's much higher grades as well. But if you average it, you're running 6 grams a ton, which is phenomenal. I'm quite used to running at 1 gram a ton, and then when I've seen this material, it's looking very healthy. So these banded iron formations running north-south, we start to move across the system. You've got known gold in the center of the system. There's Baxter 12 meters at 6 again. So Baxter, Coal Gonda, Eureka, Scots, these are all in cross-cutting structures, and these cross-cutting structures run all the way through the Island Gold Project. So really, we've now got a model that's working quite well for us and targeting high-grade gold, and the drill rig's still out there, top driller out there doing a great job. The meter rates through the roof, it's good ground for drilling, and also location to queue. So our costs are really low because we base the guys in queue just 20 k's up the road. There's good food and everything. They get good relaxation, and they come back to site, get the good meters, and then back up to queue again. So in terms of locality, it's perfect. Now, what's the difference to what's happened previously? Well, it's really getting your eye into these areas and locating the quartz reefs at surface. Now we know which orientation they're going in is chasing them down with the drill rigs, and we proved that with Vadran's Hill with those 2 great hits. The drill rig is still in that vicinity. It's knocking over additional extensions to Baxter, Golconda, the Scottish Chief, and then we're going to head to the north to North Vadran's. We was up there last week. I've employed the services of a geo called Gary Harvey. He's been instrumental in setting this all up as well. And we went for a walk from New Orient Gold Mine all the way down to Skipper. And along that strike, we picked up numerous quartz reef, and they're all identical, same structures. And they're also structurally identical to, as I say, Break a Day. So it gives you an indication of what we're looking at here. Once we finish up the current program, which it looks like it's going to wrap up in about a week's time, what we'll do, we'll get all the assay results in, get all the mapping in, start building up the next round. So during that period, we'll start all these new targets. We've got 10 iron formations running north-south within that 1,000 meter width, and they run for 5 kilometers. So wherever we get a break in the banded iron formation, that's where we're dropping a hole, and that's where we're finding the gold, because that's where gold can drop out. The drill rigs will go back. I've already had a chat to Top Drill. There's drill rigs floating up and down the Great Northern Highway, so they'll just, whenever we need the rig to go back in, which will be in about 3 or 4 weeks, once we finish this program, we can go again and really hit these targets hard. Additional news. So we just dropped off 15 holes at the lab. That went on the 9th of February. So they take around 3 weeks for fire assay. So there'll be new news coming out. Now, just with all that activity going on at the Island Gold Project, we're also doing resource modelling at the New Orient Gold Mine. We haven't dropped a hole in there, but there's enough drilling there to produce a resource. But that's just an interim resource. I just wanted to find out the size of the prize. And also, when you do resource modelling, you're looking at the orientation of the structures and really applying that to all these other breaks within the gold target area. So there's multiple targets, as I say, with good grade. So we'll get the news from the New Orient Gold Mine. We're also doing some modelling at Baxter and Golconda. But as I say, they'll just be interim resources. And as we do more drilling, we'll extend them. And as we look at these, I guess these staircase events with the gold going to depth, we can start to build these areas up. But yeah, as I say, it's been a great journey, and really we only just started that in December, and coming out with the first few holes just shows the high potential for this whole area. I guess one other bit of news is there's whole areas, when you look at the New Orient Gold Mine in the picture, there's whole areas that's never been touched. And when we went out there with Gary said, look, let's go to the southern end of the new Orient gold mine. And he believes he saw quartz reefs sticking out of the alluvials. So we went down there, and lo and behold, we dug a little hole with our hands, and there's the brecciated quartz reefs sticking out of the sediments, alluvial sediments. So that thing continues to the south, and it connects directly up with North Hadrian's, and then it connects up with Hadrian's, Chicago, Shamrock. So that whole banded iron formation is just one of 10 that run for 5 kilometers. So if you can imagine, there's quite a few targets that we're going to hit. But yeah, it's very interesting. So I'll just go for a few more pictures. There's a long section. So Norient gold mine to the north, untested. But we also, you can see there's a truncation in the New Orient gold mine. We believe that continues to the south, plunging to the south. And interestingly enough, what we're seeing on the other side of the untested area, it's plunging to the north. And this is just one section, long section running north-south. And you can start to see the repetition, the staircase events. And speaking to a couple of the board members like Roger Mason and obviously Gary, and speaking to some of the other geos at Fosterville, they're saying, yeah, you get these stacking events of quartz reefs, high grade all the way down. So these could potentially go to depth as well. And there's numerous targets that we now have that will hit on the next drill program. Now, another picture of the banded iron formations, which are roughly running north-south. Then the gold that we know to date. These are just the areas that we know about. One thing to note is the previous drilling drilled from the west to the east, directly hitting the banded iron formation. We swung the drill rig around and come at an angle to the shear. And lo and behold, the first hole hit it head on. So great effort to the geological team, mapping that out, not only on the surface. I guess prior to drilling, there was a fair bit of work that went into this. So there's some reasoning behind our madness. And as you can see, 27 meters at the top and 28 down hole. And then it continues. You can almost see at the bottom of this hole, we start to see something else forming. So this is where you start to see maybe another system. And the red arrows are showing the direction of the plunge. So yeah, very interesting. Just some drill results there. We've already talked about the location of magnet to the south and Q to the north. So Great Northern Highway doesn't get any better than that, and surrounded by mills. Some of the historical workings, these only go down 10 meters, but you can see where the old timers, they were only interested about the ounce dirt. So you can see these are just wide enough for a person to go down. But the actual reef system's much wider than that. And just some similarities to the Break of Day. So if you imagine on the left-hand side, Break of Day, which is Romelius, they had the main structure, which is this yellow one, which they call Lena. That's the equivalent to what we got the banded iron formations. And then we swung the drill rigs around just like they did. And then we're starting to hit these reef systems. So you can see their stack of Break of Days. And that's what we're seeing exactly through Hadrian's, Baxter, Golconda. And it's a case of us starting to drill these out. And I guess that's pretty, we could probably go to questions now, if you like. Been through some of the sections.
Thanks, Luke. There have been a few questions that have come through. Based on these results, and, we're currently undertaking that 30, well, in total 30 hole drill program. Will you look to extend the current drilling program?
Oh, yeah. So I've already had that conversation with Top Drill. Rig 23 is just going to go, I think it's about 50 k's north of us. They said, look, we're going to finish up your 5,000 meters. And I said, look, they said, look, just when do you need it back? And I said, about 3 weeks. They're like, yep, as soon as you want a rig, don't worry, we've got rigs running up and down the Great Northern Highway on a daily basis. And because of our locality is so perfect in terms of just being near Q, they can just drop a rig in when we're ready to go again. So I'm looking to finish up this program in about 7 days' time, get all of the samples off to the lab. During that time, we're going to have the geos back on site, mapping all these new targets with what new information that we know. I've got the resource modelers modelling everything up now, and in about 3 weeks or sort of that'll take us to mid March. We'll get a rig back on site. And they said there's no issues with getting a rig back there. So yeah, I want to keep the momentum on this. Want to keep assays coming in. Start really drilling out this, I guess, this ladder effect of the quartz reefs, not only on the eastern BIF, but I've got 10 BIFs to test now, and also the new Orient to the north there. I've visually seen that. I'll send a video on one of my 60-second updates of that. You can see it. We dug a hole and you can see the quartz reefs, brecciated quartz reefs at surface. So that's really interesting as well. And there's a hole over 1.5 kilometers that goes under the alluvial sediments there that's just never been tested. So yeah. So we're going to extend our drilling. We'll finish up this program, probably go for another 5,000 meters, get the data back in, consistently start building up the resources on the Island Gold projects.
Yeah, sounds great. Have there been any conversations about potential tolling with either Westgold or Ramelius?
Not yet. What I want to do, I want to go into those negotiations with a solid resource in my hand. So we're near the tail end of releasing a resource on the new Orient gold mine. But all I've done, I've just taken the surface drilling down to, I think it's 110 meters, and it still continues at depth. So I've just said, right, what could we easily grab from surface, model that up. But now we've seen the quartz reef head to the south into the sediments. What I'll do, I'll just get an interim resource out to show size of the prize. I'll get that optimized just to show that any of these areas that are running 6 grams a ton can be mined from surface in small scale mining, and can be easy feed for either Westgold or Ramelius. There's no infrastructure. I've got the Great Northern Highway on our doorstep. I've got the roads there. I've got all the fuel, equipment, everything I need.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously been chatting to various small scale miners that can easily get into these areas and mine these out. And also I've been speaking to the haulage companies that run Great Northern Highway, that deliver dirt from the various small open pits, just like New Orient, to these mills. So yeah, so there's definitely options there.
Yeah, great. And just one on funding. Will the drill program be finished prior to any capital raise? But I'm going to combine it with another question saying, how many rigs do you see as we go from here? Will you give existing shareholders the opportunity to participate in further funding?
Yeah, absolutely. So
and bearing in mind the options.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, so the what we've got, I've got about 1.9 in the bank. I've paid for everything that was done over Christmas. All the assays have been paid for. And Top Drill have been doing an amazing job, just because of our locality. We're not building camps or anything like that. We're not mobilizing anything. It's all local. So the costs are really low on these drill programs. So I've got enough cash there to run another program without doing a raise. And then on top of that, there's all these 3-cent options, which I'm sure at the current market price will be, hopefully be converted. So there's 2.5 or $3 million there as well. So, not rattling the tin just yet. So yes, I've certainly got enough for now to get this program complete and another one around similar size, around the 5,000 meter mark.
Would you consider equity agreement with Top Drill?
Yeah, certainly. We talked about that just before Christmas. I think they were quite top heavy on the equity, and they said, look, let's have a chat in the new year. So our RIU's catching up. I know the guys are in Subiaco, so I'll swing past and have a chat about equity. But yeah, it's definitely been discussed and it's an option on the table.
Yeah, great. Okay, I don't think there's any other questions. If we didn't get to your questions, we've got them here. We can email you in case we didn't cover it. I think we have though. Thank you everybody for coming. Just a quick wrap up from you. What can we expect in the next few weeks? What, other than your another 60-second update?
Yeah, well, we're still drilling, so we've probably got another week there. Obviously, as we drill, the assays have been loaded onto trucks down to ALS in Perth. So you're going to start to see drill results. Hopefully, some good news coming out of New Orient and Baxter with the modelling. I'm also progressing with permitting because we're actually on. This is an active mining lease. So first of all, there's exploration leases, but we're actually on a mining lease. That mining lease is converted to an active mining lease. I'm the mine manager and senior site executive. So we're well down the track of permitting. We have discharge licenses and the likes for this area. So I've got a specialist in just to look at what we need to do next to get small scale mining open pits for areas like New Orient and Baxter. But as I say, the main driver for Caprice now is proving up ounces. Now we've hit that 28 meters and then 27 meters. These stacked coarse-free systems will be really driving the system and seeing how deep these go. And that will mean more drilling. So the rigs are there now, and the rigs will be back very shortly to continue that drive to depths.
Good stuff. All right, everyone that's here in Perth or attending RIU next week, got any other questions? Go and hit Luke up at the booth. See you then.
See you there.
Bye.